So then the semi-final lineup is set for the Club World Cup. Tomorrow, Tuesday, sees Fluminense take on Chelsea at the MetLife Stadium. That is at 3 p.m. Eastern. And then 24 hours later, PSG take on Real Madrid for a place in this weekend's final at stake. Chelsea go into the clash against Fluminense very much as favourites, although the Brazilians have proved certainly to be very much the underdogs who have shone so far in this tournament. It'll be a romantic story if the Brazilians indeed make it through to the final to take on one of the big boys, be it PSG or Real Madrid. But for the moment, our attention is very much on the Brazilian side against Chelsea. Joao Pedro, of course, has joined the Blues, and this is what he had to say ahead of the game.
Every player have a different style to play, and I think the lab have one, Nicolas Jefferson, another one. I have my way, and I think this is just gonna be a good way for Chelsea, you know.
And do you feel like three top players competing against each other, it would be difficult for someone to really make their mark in the team?
I think who bring more good things to the team gonna play. I think everyone need to work hard in the end. Enzo decides.
Mark Ogden is with us. Hello, Mark. Welcome to the studio.
You're going to be shouted at as well.
Bit of a costume change there. Yeah, I've been here before, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
A while ago.
You obviously made lasting memories.
Yes.
Mario with us as well. Let's start off, though, with Alexis, who, of course, has been literally all around the country for the Club World Cup. New York will be your final stop, Alexis, for these two semi-finals and the final. Let's focus, shall we, on Chelsea? We heard you there speaking to Joao Pedro. What's the general vibe within the Chelsea camp ahead of this tie?
Yeah, Dan, honestly, it's a pretty good vibe inside the Chelsea camp. I think they've just felt that they've been slipping under the radar. Everyone has been concentrating on some of the bigger teams like PSG, like Real Madrid, of course, the teams that are very well supported from South America, which includes Fluminense. But I think everyone's just kind of wised up now and said, oh, wow, Chelsea are in a semi-final. They could potentially be one of the favorites. They've avoided the other side of the draw that has PSG and Real Madrid. But it was good to catch up with some of the players today. We also spoke to Moises Caicedo, who did tell us that they all feel very confident. They do feel like they can win this title. They are taking it seriously. And it was great to hear from Joao Pedro there, because I know, of course, you guys were speaking on the show once his signing was announced, once Liam Delap's signing was announced. And I know you were asking Augie, what on earth is Chelsea doing? We know that they have so many different signings. They have a very, very little squad, but they still don't have that perfect out-and-out 20-goal-a-season striker, which is something that even plagued the man you were just talking about in the segment before, Mauricio Pochettino, when he was Chelsea manager. You know, you talk about Nicholas Jackson, whether he's the right one, Nkunku as well, who was brought in by Pochettino, and Pochettino halfway through his tenure had to talk about how, look, he's just not the same player because of injuries that he saw at Leipzig. And now in comes two players there, Joao Pedro and, of course, Liam Delap. We've liked what we've seen from them, but I loved what I heard from Joao Pedro. He spoke about how he was embracing the competition there at Chelsea, how he feels like he has a little bit more of a physical nature, that South American football style that he told us in Portuguese that he feels like could set him apart from the usual candidates that we do see at Chelsea. He also said that he chose to come to Chelsea because he wanted to win trophies, and he also felt that playing at a club like Chelsea could probably put him in a good position to being called up to the Brazil national team a year away from the World Cup. So if I'm Enzo Maresca, he's saying all the right things here, and he's already pretty much impressed a lot of people for Chelsea with his physicality, but he is prone to a card or two. So probably if he can find that balance and, of course, score the goals. Chelsea haven't had anybody apart from Cole Palmer, but a striker, an out-and-out striker, to score 20 or more goals a season since, I think, Diego Costa did it back in 2017. So this is going to be an interesting competition for that striker position.
Mario, how excited are you for this game? Are you going to be full Chelsea strip, edge of your seat on the couch watching this semi-final?
Oh, I got my shirt out already, but
yes.
I will have to knock the dust off, man. I have to knock the dust off then. I cannot with them on. No, I'm excited. Of course, they got so far, and I think how they build the setup, you understand what they can achieve if they win the final. What is it, 153 million they're winning. So financially, they're looking very good, and they spend the money, and I think that's one of the goals. But if you look at the striker, Pedro, like what you guys already talked about, his goal was very simple. I come to Chelsea, I want to be a player that is respected and being chosen for my national team. Now he's going to play a game. If he starts tomorrow, he plays against Silva. He said it himself. He's one of the legendary players. And he said, like, I like him, but I want to perform. And the way he looked out of his eyes and the way he was talking to the journalists, this talks about a player that likes competition and still feels he will be the better one of both of them, like Jackson and, like whoever comes his way. I feel like he is comfortable in entering into that battle. And that's why I like that in football, because you cannot be scared of battles. You have to go at them.
What's going to happen to Nico Jackson? They want rid, surely.
They need to get rid of some players because they've got so many players that aren't going to play. They need to, I won't say balance the books, but this fine that UEFA hit them with last week, which they kind of wiped out by winning on Friday. But Jackson isn't going to play. And I think, Mario's right that Joao Pedro does seem to be the more finished article. Delap has still got a lot to learn, I think, and having him around means that it's easy for Delap to bed in. But Delap turned down and moved to Manchester United because he wanted to play at Chelsea. Well, he might not play at Chelsea. So he'll be the second choice, I think, behind Joao Pedro. Jackson, he had a good season last year. He scored a lot of goals. He scored more goals than you think his ability would actually deliver. He always finds a way, makes things happen. But I think he would be a player that would let go because they have to bring some money in from somewhere. And they've got a lot of players.
Yep.
Raheem Sterling, Ben Chilwell, all these players that people forget about, they have to get rid of as well. So it could be a busy summer on the way out at Chelsea as well as the way in.
Alexis, quite the opposite to Mark. I'll tell you who's brought some life very much to this tournament is, of course, the Brazilian teams. Fluminense, of course, the last man standing. You can knock this tournament, and of course we have on this show, but the Brazilian showing has been fantastic, hasn't it?
You have knocked this tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly. The Brazilians definitely have been the other highlights as well as the Argentinian fans, and we expect them to absolutely pile into the stadium tomorrow. Unfortunately, I won't be there because I will be in studio getting to hang out with the boys. But look, we even got to hear a little bit from the Fluminense camp, and they are very confident and have no fear going up against Chelsea. They say they play a style of football that I'm sure Ale can translate for you, but it's called the le toca y me voy. Like, I touch it and then I go. They're not going to pretty much let it easy for Chelsea. They're going to be quickly passing that ball, and they said that they feel like their pace, they can also get and exploit Chelsea as well and probably get them on the counter-attack. They have no problem being compact in the back and soaking up pressure. They said they relish that challenge. They really are up for this, and they have a certain Thiago Silva who knows Chelsea very, very well. Of course, he respects his former club, but I'm pretty sure he'll be riling the Fluminense squad up in that dressing room to go after the European Chelsea club.
Could have got a translation from me, but she went for you, Anne.
And she didn't even let me translate it. She said it and then translated herself.
Yeah.
Just in case you got it wrong.
Very selfish. Look, Fluminense, they're literally, and I mean literally, playing with house money already.
Yeah.
They're not expected to be at this point of the competition. And every time you advance, and we have been reminded of it every time that you watch a game, this game is worth this many millions. Okay, well, and for Fluminense, all those millions count for something. All those millions are important. All those millions change the trajectory of the club locally in Brazil. And so here they are, again, playing with house money, a dangerous team because they know exactly who they are and what they are and how they go about winning games. I don't think you can say that about Chelsea all the time. Consistency with Chelsea is a problem. I don't think consistency is a problem with Fluminense. Now, talent level, potential, higher ceiling, I think you go Chelsea. But Fluminense, they're going to be organized. They'll absorb pressure. If Chelsea lose the ball in a bad area, they have proven in this tournament, Fluminense has, that they have enough in the attack to expose frailties for Chelsea defensively. Having said that, I'm picking Chelsea.
Not meaning to be negative about this tournament, but just slightly for a moment.
Well, kind of.
Why is this game at 3 in the afternoon in July at the MetLife?
To suit the European TV audience.
Who aren't watching?
Well, no, they're not watching, to be honest, but that is where the money is supposedly for the World Cup next year. The broadcast rights, that's where the big football population is apparently, and we know it's not, but that's where it's led by money, it's led by influence. Now, you're right, 3 o'clock in the afternoon in New Jersey, who's going to be there? Fluminense will help because they've got a big following in the city, but Chelsea. The same on Wednesday as well, and the same for the final. It's just the wrong time, I think, for a game that needs to be. Let's not talk about the heat as well, but obviously playing in the evening would help the occasion as well. So it does feel this competition that's been thrown together at the last minute, and it's been...
Do you think they'll learn their lesson? For example, next year the World Cup semi-finals will not be at this time.
Well, they will be, because let's say it's France versus Germany.
Well, get up.
Yeah,
Get up and stay up.
The European TV companies are not going to want that to be at 2 o'clock in the morning. So it is basically done to suit television companies. We are one ourselves. That's how it works. But unfortunately for the people who are watching the games in this country, it's at difficult times. I wouldn't want to be sat in the MetLife with the sun beating down at 3 o'clock in the afternoon with no cover. But that's what's happened to a lot of fans in this tournament. So it's not designed for the local supporters. Tournaments are.
We have precedent from the 1994 World Cup final, Italy against Brazil. It was played in the afternoon at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California.
Worst World Cup ever.
Huh?
Worst World Cup final ever.
Well, let's just say that it was not played at the pace that it should have been. But the only reason, and mind you, when we're talking about Pasadena, we're talking about 3 hours behind us here in the East Coast. So you're looking at 1 o'clock kickoff, 4 o'clock kickoff Eastern time, so that people in Italy can watch the game, or Europe, or whatever the case may be. That's a precedent. It's already been set. So, yeah, to answer your question, fine. Come the final of the World Cup next year, it'll be played in the afternoon.
Wow. And we've had thunder and lightning here, which is only, 2 or 3 hours away the last couple of days as well.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing.
Add some more. Right, don't be negative.
Well, you kind of were.
No. Right. Mario, Chelsea, are they going to win the Premier League?
No, that's a big question, my friend. No, you're going too fast now. No,
I'm sorry.
I said, okay, we talking about, no, you're going a little too fast. For me, they just got over the line for the Champions League. So allow them now to make it comfortable into the Champions League. And this season, I will not say that Chelsea is being ready for the title race. No. Because I think it's a little bit too early. You saw it already. This tournament, they're building a team and trying to get everything to work perfectly. And I think during the season, we're going to see some moments are going to come back from it. And they have to make sure that they build every season has to be better than the prior one. And then after that, after this season, you ask me that question, I say 100%. But this season, I will not give you the 100%.
Why don't you give Chelsea more respect, Mark?
Yeah.
Look at what they've done over the last 24 matches.
Such a hater.
Of course, the last 2 months of the Premier League season, they fought hard to get a place in the Champions League.
What is it, pick on me day? Just because...
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it.
Robbo's had it last couple of days.
Chelsea, for me, I don't think they're a very good team. There's too much chaos
Look
there.
at their results.
Yeah, but I mean, they've not played anybody in this tournament.
Not in this tournament, but over the last 3 months, this team has taken a massive step forward from what we thought.
They got some momentum towards the end of the season and they got over the line. But let's be honest, a lot of those games were in the Conference League, which is the third tier competition by some distance. I remember watching the Man United game in the Premier League at the end of the season, and both teams were terrible. And you wouldn't know which one was 17th and which one was 6th. They were both poor, but they got it over the line, you're right. But I don't see that Chelsea team coming anywhere near the title. Those 3 teams there, I'd put Newcastle ahead of Chelsea. Wow. Chelsea have got a lot of talent, but you don't know what they're going to do from one day to the next. And I don't think Maresca's that great a coach either. I think that last season they were very lucky to get over the line into the Champions League, but that's me being negative again.
No, I would say Maresca's a decent coach. He knows what he wants. They play.
Mario's up.
They play out.
Mark, easy now, Mark. Mark, come on now, man, come on.
It's been sat with Dan, it's made me really negative.
I don't think Alexis, of course, you're going to be sat in the hot seat tomorrow. Special show coming from New York. Who are you most looking forward to working with, Ali or Robbo?
Do you know, I love me some Vamos Vino Tinto, so I can't wait to reunite with Ali. I think Robbo's tired of seeing me, but
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Wow.
Ali, I need some Barcelona Ali.
Wow.
I'm hoping
You've
that
gone down in my
Barcelona Ali
estimation,
is
Alexis.
Like New York
Thank you,
Ali.
Alexis.
Down in my
Thank you.
estimation.
Once
you,
again,
Alexis.
Robbo rejected.
Honesty is the best policy, Alexis.
Mario, thank you very much, Alexis. Enjoy the show. Of
Not
course,
busy,
Alexis
but-
will be live
Thank you, guys.
tomorrow, reacting to that semi-final between Chelsea and Fluminense. Be sure to join them on ESPN FC.